It took me developing a very serious illness that left me unable to work in order for me to realize that I wasn't living what my soul was intended to do. And I wonder how much that's happening to other people. My sense is that the majority of people, at some level, are not fully living the truest aspect of who they are and have accessed all they have to give in terms of what's hidden within them and some really brilliant gifts they have, and fully expressing why they're here.
You said that you knew what you wanted to do since you were very young.
Yes.
How did you go off track?
I did start out very young. I was 11. I loved National Geographic magazine, and because I loved the way the philosophers and the ancient civilizations thought, and so I was on track from that point forward. And I went to college and discovered psychology and philosophy, which seemed the perfect vehicles to study this mind, body, soul connection that I was so fascinated with.
So far, so good.
And then, unfortunately, when I announced it to my family, especially my father, it was just something that was disapproved of very strongly. So there was a great deal of pressure for me to go in another direction. And it actually took a year for me to change directions. And, you know, at this point, I was through my third year of college. And I decided to go to medical school to do child psychiatry. And I thought, well, I can still study the mind and consciousness, which I had been doing research in college. I thought maybe there might even be better funding and more opportunity if I were to pursue that path.
I hear rationalization and
compromise
compromise here.
And you hit it right on the spot. And that is such an important thing to recognize, because it was a rationalization. And at the time, I didn't think that this was a very big change in my choice. And I couldn't have been farther from the truth. Because what I've learned to recognize is that every decision we make, no matter how big or how small, takes us a little farther away from our soul's path for our purpose in our life, or a little closer.
But on the outside, it looked like you had everything. You had a very nice life. You were very successful.
I was very successful. I was, at that point, I was nationally recognized as a funded researcher and an author, a speaker, educator. I was in charge of a very large integrative medicine clinic at a very reputable academic institution, as well as the women's health clinic at that same institution, in charge of all the education of the trainees. And but there's a theme that's kind of coming along here too, and that is the hats just kept coming on, more hats to wear, and I was given more and more responsibility, more opportunity, and at the same time, keep in mind that I had a 1-hour commute one way to work every day. I was married. I was raising a young daughter at the time. So I was trying to balance this professional life, this work, with my marriage, raising my daughter, and wanting to be the best parent I could be, which every parent wants. And it was extraordinarily challenging for me. And really what I was experiencing was overwhelming stress. And I slept maybe 4 to 5 hours a night and took no time for self-care whatsoever. And I did this for years, absolutely for years. And I remember at times fleeting moments of this sense of, oh my gosh, I'm on this fast train. You know, what am I doing here? It is going so fast, and where is it going? And I could not even think of how I could slow it down as more things were piled on for a moment to think about, what am I doing here? Where am I going? And I think that for many people, that is the experience that they find themselves in. And they're not really able to take the reflective time to get in tune with who they really are right now and what messages that their own inner knowing or intuition might have for them, and certainly what their body's telling them about what the stress is doing to them.
So how did you get back on track? Because it seems like you're on track now, so how did you get there?
Well, I had to get way far off more track than that before, and I call it the cosmic 2x4. They say the soul whispers, the mind calls, and the body is a messenger, a very effective one, and it just comes along with a cosmic 2x4. And in my life, that was developing this very serious illness, and it totally derailed my life and ground it to a halt, to the point where I couldn't work for 2 years. And I did really avail myself of everything that traditional medicine had to offer. I'm a physician, so I was going to try everything that I could. And I also, because I was a women's health holistic physician, embraced a lot of holistic modalities. But after 18 months, I was told there was really little hope for further improvement. And I wasn't working, I was not doing much of anything. And at that time, I had several physicians offer me, I didn't ask, they offered me 100% medical Social Security disability and said, you know, you really need this gift we're giving you. Accept this for life. And from a financial perspective, it would have been great, right? Some income coming in that wasn't at that time, but there was a sense of knowing within me that if I accepted that identity, I would be sending the strongest message to my body that I could imagine, that I would never heal, that it was a done deal. I just knew it, and I refused to accept that.
So what were you fighting for?
I had a beautiful young daughter, and I was fighting for her and for us, and the fact that I wasn't going to give up and leave her without a mother, or with a lifestyle in which her mother became someone who had to depend on her for the rest of her life and limit her opportunities. I wanted her to live a full and vibrant life and live her purpose. So the last thing I wanted was to take that from her. So that was a very strong motivation for me to go forward.
And you did get better.
I did. Once I was told I wouldn't, I'm rather stubborn, and at that point I trained in even more holistic modalities having to do with transformation and psychology, personal growth, spirituality, and I did a lot of work with methods to help you uncover life purpose, which led me to mine, which really has to do with about, ironically, getting people on their path to their purpose. And at that point, when I immersed myself in these modalities that fully engage together mind, body, and spirit, not one piece of the puzzle at a time, but all of them, and I committed to changing my career and leaving holistic women's health in the way I'd been practicing it, and embarking on this new path that really represented who I am and what I'm here to do, I was back at work within 6 months. Wow. At that point.
Wow. And your life now?
And now I do what I love. And I make a great income doing it, which is wonderful. It's not the most important thing, but for those who believe that you can't do both, I'm here to tell you that you can. And my life is very fulfilling, very joyous, and I have a whole future to look forward to with my daughter and everything that brings to look forward to.